So let's get down to the practical nitty-gritty and talk about what we actually need to do. Starting with a topic that seems to be much on people's minds of late. Money. Money, the most mysterious of human inventions, a magical number of no meaning or existence outside the human mind, that has displaced life as our object of sacred veneration and become the ultimate arbiter of human priorities. Money allows some to live in grand opulence in the midst of scarcity. Lack of it confines others to death by starvation in the midst of plenty. Money has largely displaced mutual caring as the primary currency mediating our access to the essentials of daily existence. The result is a loss of a sense of meaning and of the relationships of caring families and communities essential to true health, happiness, and security. The related distortion of our priorities legitimates the destruction of people and nature for short-term profit. And it legitimates a system of global rule by those who control the creation and allocation of money solely for personal gain. It is also the foundation for war. War, in a competition to secure access to cheap resources, to fuel wasteful consumption, to drive corporate profits, serves money. Peace serves life. To have true peace, we must take stock of all our available resources and assure that each and every one is used responsibly and sustainably to meet the needs of all people and of all living beings, because our lives ultimately depend on one another. Restoring local self-reliance and caring relationships while reducing environmentally destructive consumption and automobile dependence all strengthen the ties of family and community, reduce the rationale for war, strengthen the power of life, and reduce the power of money. Are you with me? Yes. Most all of the distorted priorities of our society can be traced back to a culture that values money more than life, and to institutions that make financial returns to rich people the primary purpose of economic activity. We have allowed the institutional systems by which we now create and allocate money to become the prime operating system of society, and it has run wildly out of control. The system was designed by and for Wall Street interests for the sole purpose of increasing the financial assets of people who have financial assets. Can you imagine? That's what our whole economy is designed for. It makes cheap money readily available to speculators engaged in inflating financial bubbles and financing other predatory money scams, while at the same time making money limited and expensive to those engaged in producing real wealth, pushing them into indebtedness to those who produce nothing at all. It is a sick system. It cannot be fixed. It can and must be replaced by a new financial system designed to serve life. This is an absolutely foundational political message that we must be getting out there. It's not about fixing the existing system. It is about replacing the system. I make the case and spell out the solutions in my new book, Agenda for a New Economy. This is also the theme of the summer 2009 issue of Yes Magazine. Not long ago, we were besieged with stories of how Wall Street's money masters had discovered the secrets of creating limitless wealth through financial innovation free from risk and the burdens of producing anything of real value. It is so unbelievable there were actually academic papers putting forth this thesis that we found the new secret of wealth creation. We don't have to produce anything anymore. We just make money. In an audacious social engineering experiment, corporate interests drove a public policy shift that made finance the leading sector of the U.S. economy and the concentration of private wealth the leading economic priority. They envisioned a world in which the United States would dominate the global economy by specializing in the creation of money and the marketing and consumption of goods produced elsewhere. In this fairy tale fantasy, the rest of the world would forever send us their food, resources, and other products of their labor in return for nothing more than uncollectible IOUs. Wall Street led a political drive to roll back taxes on high incomes, give tax preference to income from financial speculation over income from productive work, cut back social safety nets, suppress wages, privatize public assets, outsource jobs and manufacturing capability, and allow public infrastructure to deteriorate. For a time, their efforts succeeded beyond imagination. Manufacturing in this country fell from 29% of U.S. gross domestic product in 1950 to only 12% in 2005. While financial services grew from 12% of the economy to 20%. From 1980 to 2005, the highest earning 1% of the U.S. population increased its share of taxable income from 9% to 19%, with most of the gain going to the very richest 1%. From being a net exporter, the United States became a net importer, with a persistent annual trade deficit of more than $750 billion, financed by rising foreign debt. One measure of the extent to which we have been living ever further beyond our own means. And all the while, the architects of the restructuring congratulated themselves on their financial genius and rewarded themselves with lavish bonuses, even as they turned us into a national economic basket case and set the stage for global financial collapse. What went wrong? The wealth that Wall Street's self-proclaimed genius thought they were creating was only phantom wealth. Now, as defined by our public culture, wealth and money are largely synonymous. This is a cultural myth that we've all grown up with. The idea that money is wealth. Money and wealth are the same thing. That's what leads us into these incredibly illogical stories about our economy. Conflating these two concepts easily leads us to believe that those who make money are creating wealth, and that finance and housing bubbles are actually engines of wealth creation. Now, you surely recall that as housing prices were inflating, we were regularly told how much wealth or value the rise in market price was creating. And as housing prices deflated, we heard regular reports on how much wealth or value was being destroyed. Curious, isn't it? Absolutely nothing about your house changed except the market price. No difference in space, location, functionality, or state of repair, just a change in the number of dollars the house would fetch in the market. It, of course, is nothing more than a form of inflation. Money increases, real wealth remains exactly the same. And what is money? The vast majority of money in circulation isn't even represented by a number on a piece of paper. It is merely an electronic trace in a computer file. Now, aside from the metal and coins, what we call money has no meaning or existence outside the human mind. Money has value only because, by social convention, we agree to accept it in return for things of real value, our labor, knowledge, and natural resources. Money is an accounting check created from nothing with a simple accounting entry when a bank issues a loan. As economist John Kenneth Galbraith once famously observed, the process by which money is created is so simple it repels the mind. When you take out a loan from a bank, the bank opens an account in your name and enters the amount of the loan. That becomes a liability on the bank's accounts, offset by a corresponding asset of your promise to repay with interest. Two simple accounting entries, and money magically appears from nowhere.